In my neighborhood, the streets, not neighborhood, I've been there now 50, I'll say 56 years, and they've never asphalted my streets. The original curves and sidewalks are there. We've got one place in my neighborhood on Hawthorne where the sidewalk has buckled. So the kids, instead of using the boards on the skateboard, they use this sidewalk to ride a ramp because the tree had buckled or something has buckled the sidewalk that bad. I got pictures of it. The kids, one time we picking up 27 tires that's being dumped in our neighborhood, illegally dumping. And I'm trying to get people, if you see somebody illegally dumping, call the police, call 911 and let them know they are illegally dumping. The city needs to put effort into the infrastructure. We can make our city looks good, and it look good on the outside of the structure. But once you come inside the infrastructure, it's a lot of work. I know it can't be done overnight, but they need to make an effort to do something to the sidewalks, the curves, you know, the alleys and stuff inside there. I've got 3 abandoned houses pushed down that was burnt, that's been burnt. One of them had been burnt over 5 years. And then I start calling the right people, knocking on the right door. We got 3 houses in OC pushed down that was burnt, that's been sitting there that I'm sure the city knew about it. Nobody pushed it and got it done. They are gone now. But there's other stuff that need to be done. And I'm going to teach these kids how to go through the system, how to go through the city council meeting, who to talk to, so therefore they can go and say, Mayor Holland, why is this in our neighborhood? Why do our streets look like this? Why do we have the trash and debris?
They have gone on tours before in other communities, but I think they need to come in the Kensington area and see. We do have some sidewalks, but then there's other areas where there are no sidewalks and there need to be sidewalks. Now, we do have sidewalks in front of our school, Chelsea, but that's only so far where the kids are. But as far as handicap accessibility, no. They need to improve that a little bit within the community. Also, Parkwood, that's another school that the only place they have sidewalks is where those kids come out to get in the car to leave with their parents. Outside of that, there's no sidewalks around there. I have to talk to another lady in UG in March about putting lines in the street to let people know this is a school area because there's no crosswalk for those kids. And I've talked to the principal, and so we're working together, and I talked to Commissioner, District at Large, #1, Melissa Bynum, and in March, we're going to work with getting a crosswalk for those kids because 33rd Street, there's a school there, 33rd and Garfield, but there are no crosswalks at all, and kids go to the school on the corner. There's a stop sign, but that means nothing. So they need crosswalks there, and they need to know kids do cross that street. Something to slow them down.
What I would love to work on is also accessing, have a facility where women with children, just on yesterday, had a young lady that was referred to me because her mom put her out with 2 children. And it was by the grace of God that I was able to connect with Nativity House, and Nativity House took her in. But a lot of places, we don't, in Wyandotte County, I don't know where there's a shelter, you know. So I think my next project is working on, it's really would like to work on being able to housing, affordable housing for our community. Women and children, the elderly, and the elderly. Because I'm elderly myself.
My favorite experience actually was growing up in the area. When I was a kid, it was always something to do, not a lot of crime, anything like that. You could leave your doors unlocked. It's like this, it takes a village to raise a kid. And our community down there, that's exactly what happened. The neighbors see you do something down the street, your parents knew about it before you got home, you know, and it kept you in line. And also the schools were, the teachers, you know, they were very accessible for things. You know, they went above their call of duty. And I think that at least my generation, some generations before, it really got a good education and a good sound sense of fairness, you know, of life, you know, to how to treat people. Probably don't like to mention this, but I grew up at a segregated time. Yeah. And our community, we had a cross-section of people, rich, poor, educated, uneducated. Like my dad didn't finish high school. My mom, although my mom wasn't from Kansas City, Kansas, my dad wasn't either. My mom graduated from a university, Northwestern University in Illinois. And my dad made a pretty good living, although we were poor. He was a machinist. And I just admired him for being, because he could run the machine he had, plus he knew how to fix all the other machines in the plant. He was a very instrumental man where he worked at. And that inspired me to learn and stuff, you know. So, for us, the community, going back like it was, I don't think it would ever happen again. Not like it was.
As far as the association is concerned, everyone who lives within those boundaries is considered a member of the West Heights Association. That being said, we have some members who have been there a long time and their families before them. We have new families. We have families who've maybe been there for a generation and raised their children. At one time, it was considered a very exclusive neighborhood. And to some extent, it still is because of the beautiful homes. But the people who live there now are not necessarily the hoi and the polloi as much as they are people who are interested in the architecture and the restoration of the older homes. That would be true in my case, my husband's case. He grew up in Kansas City, Kansas, and always knew the area. And we had lived near there, then bought a home in there and restored it, a larger home than we had originally in. So there's a lot of interest in the restoration of the architecture as opposed to living there because it's exclusive or anything. And it's becoming a very diverse neighborhood in terms of age, race, culture, and so on, which is for the most part a positive thing. And as time goes by, it becomes more of a positive thing as people begin to get to know their neighbors and share social events and so on.
Well, we're proud that we were able to get people to come together during a charrette that we was financed by LISC, and it was a several day long planning process where people from the city, from churches, residents, schools, all types of people were asked to come and be involved in this process, which was to set out a plan and a goal for future development within the neighborhood. And that resulted in a quality of life plan that we're trying very hard to make sure that everybody continues to follow as we go forward. And it kind of sets out a plan, you know, a blueprint that can be used for what types of developments go in specific areas. So a lot of times development takes place in kind of a haphazard kind of way. So this allows us to have a planning document that could be used and referred to as development starts to take place in the community.